Hey there, this is John again. I went through and just a little bit more research on immigration. Um, Essentially, this is my second video. Um, Recording as to what I'm learning about immigration. Like I stated in my previous video, I want to get involved in politics. This is my time to do it. I just got off work earlier today. I work at the almond shop over on Cass Street in Traverse City, Michigan, and I'm a baker. I bake. So I'm no expert by any means, but you have to utilize the knowledge that you want to learn. So I'm learning about immigration. So um, I went through, did some research on different websites, which I need to get that up. Forgot to get my notes as to where I actually acquired my information. So, 1 second. There we go. And scroll on down. So, yeah, I should have got all my notes before I even started this. Let's see. Nope. And okay. Alright, so I started my research on July 8th, 2017. It is currently July 14th of 2017, so it took me quite a bit, especially working between two jobs. So, and also some other things. But let's get started. So, when talking about immigration, currently it's illegal immigrants. They're currently coming into the United States, and there's some instances where there's legal immigrants or criminal legal immigrants that are in the United States that just keep getting deported, and they come back into the United States. It's treated as it's not a criminal crime, but it is I think we'll get that later on. I didn't even get all this compiled together in something tangible. So I believe you have to. I wouldn't say tangible. It's like I'll be able to go through it and explain some of it. But essentially, I'll go over certain aspects, such as currently the Mexican-American border is 1,954 miles. Just if we're talking about just the southern border, so the northern border that we think about. We see Canadians as individuals who we get along with. It always seems to be the Mexicans that don't like. I don't get it. There might be some individuals that don't like Canadians. I don't know. I haven't met anybody that doesn't like someone from Canada. So currently there's 48 border crossings in the area, which that's a lot. It's a lot of space in between them. So you'd figure with the 1,954 miles, they would have more border crossing areas, so they can actually, process people faster. I don't know, or they cover more distance. See, currently there are 10.9 million illegal immigrants in 2016 in the census. So it could be up or down from that number. It honestly can be, because we're talking about millions of people. That's just a rough estimate. It's like it's nothing precise about these numbers when I did the research. Let's see. The range of how much it costs to handle illegal immigration has been inconsistent. You would figure that the federal government would be able to get a number as to how much it costs for to handle illegal immigration. There was a website I looked up, and it was FAIR, I believe. Let's see if I can bring it up here. FAIR website. It's an abbreviation for something, but I'll have the website in the comment section below. But or the details section, however you want to talk about. But essentially, it's estimates that it costs the federal government $113 billion to handle illegal immigration. That's a lot of money. $113 billion. There's also some other estimates. It's like between 1.9 to 2.6. Like this really wide number. Like, stark contrast. It's like we're talking about billions of dollars. So, why is it that the federal government has their own numbers? Why don't they have their own numbers as to how much it costs? I mean, they should be budgeting this money, right? So it's taxpayers' money. So where's it going? Do they not have the numbers for it? If nobody has the numbers for it, how much are we spending on it? It's a valid question. And it's like I compile this information from multiple websites, and it's like, why? Why do we not have the numbers for that? This is the taxpayers' money. So I did a little bit of calculations and of how much it would cost to, instead of battling illegal immigration, how much it would to for 10.6 million illegal immigrants, turning them into U.S. citizens. That way, they won't get incarcerated. You won't pay for the prisons. They'll be U.S. citizens. They'll receive the benefits of citizens. And they'll be able to get a job, and they won't have to have gloom looming over their head of worrying about getting deported. If they're criminal illegals, they'll just have, if they violate a law in the United States, send them back to their original state or original country and have them incarcerated. It's like if invest the money into building prisons in their country, not build them here and have a for-profit system. But it's like, how much it would cost? You can charge $15 for Social Security card, per Social Security card. This would be the taxpayers, because currently it's between 1.9 billion and 113 billion are the numbers I saw. So, just for Social Security cards, it would be $163,500,000. The cost of the Social Security card. And because that costs taxpayers, the taxpayer, the individual who's already a U.S. citizen, $15. This is at least from what I've heard. They could be more, it could be less. I mean, you can do the calculation on that. Now, for birth certificate, it costs me $25. So I bumped it up to $35 because there's some states that you can get it for free. Some states you can get charged $35. It kind of depends on the individual. But if you worst case scenario, $35 for birth certificate, it would be $381 million. And I'm sorry, $381,500,000. Then labor cost. How much would it cost for labor to get this all done? So, if you took 4 hours from the time it starts to get to their name, get the Social Security card, get their birth certificate, and per illegal immigrant, it takes 4 hours. We're going to do 10.9, which is one of the numbers that I cited from one of the websites. And you pay those individuals, which those would be government jobs, and pay them good money. You pay them $20 an hour. It would cost $872 million to do that. Now, if you add all that together, I believe it's $1,417,000. I'm sorry, $1,417 million, which is less than 1.9 billion. Where's all this money going? It's like we're citing numbers from 1.9 to $113 billion. Where's the money going? And it's like, do the simple math. It's like, I don't know where they're getting these numbers from. Because from my perspective, it's just, is there more to it? Is it going to take more than 4 hours? It's a good question. But for the individual, that's usually how much it costs for the individual to pay for the individual's actually getting the information, getting the birth certificate, Social Security card. So what you pay for usually pays for the cost of the cost of labor. They take that against the cost of labor. So, like, if the federal government is spending 1.9 to 113 billion dollars to battle illegal immigration, like to fight against it, why don't they just let them all in? It's cheaper. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Um, let's see. Next part. Deporting criminal immigrants. This is the immigration issue itself. Deporting criminal immigrants should immigrants be deported if they commit a serious crime. All right, this is a big question. It's like, what crimes do they commit? Like, do they steal? Do they harm other individuals? Do they kill other individuals? Do they destroy property? Like, there's a multitude of different crimes that they can commit. And it's like more to battle the other, if anything else, or to divide the nation against the other. It's like, these are the bad people that come in and they take your jobs. Like, is it possible they take your jobs? Well, yes, it is possible that they can take your jobs. I'll get that later in the video. Let's see. A better question would be should illegal immigrants be deported if they commit a serious crime? That's the exact same one. See, this is what I get for not getting compiled. Let's see. The U.S. Supreme Court, it kind of falls on to, should you treat them as a criminal or should you treat them as a citizen of the United States? There was a Supreme Court ruling, Zadvydas versus Davis. Once an alien enters the country, the legal circumstances changes, but the due process clause applies to all persons within the United States. So, an illegal immigrant has basic constitutional rights. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion. It's like there's two different legal terms that they explain. Is improper entry or an unlawful presence. So, let's see. Improper entry is on entering onto someone's property without the person's consent by force or fraudulent pretense. An unlawful entry is distinct from burglary, which entails the breaking and entering into someone's dwelling with criminal intent. So they're breaking in with a criminal intent to break the law, which when they cross the border, they're technically have a criminal intent. They have an intent to break the law by not legally getting documented. So there's the two different aspects of illegal immigration. It's like the legal definition or legal wording behind it. It's like so they commit a crime. They're intending to commit a crime before crossing the border. So I could see why individuals are pissed that they, do that. If we did the same thing, we'd probably get a harsher sentence instead of just getting deported back to our own country. Let's be honest. It's kind of like the scariest time to be in America right now because, police state, you're not entirely sure what's going to happen. And I'm going to post another video as part 2 because I'm only allowed to do 15-minute videos. So, here we go.